Hi Dash, how are you?
How are you?
Yeah,
I
doing
love
great, thank you.
I love your background. I should have put some belts on there. All I have is well, I do have my LMS Last Man Standing books that we're producing. You know the LMS?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that's an
Killbook,
exciting one.
Bounty Hunter. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a that's the graphic novel. That's my next thing I'm working on. But there's a shameless plug.
Hey, I
Um,
don't blame you. That's an exciting project, just as this one. I mean, I know you worked with John Voight on Ray Donovan at a series. I love that show, but here you're working with an action legend like Sylvester Stallone. So that must have been a hell of a time for you.
Yeah, I'd like to see John Voight and Sylvester Stallone in a boxing ring. He would like do some train moves a little bit more and but that would be fun.
But how was it for you to work with him and to explore this
Oh,
dynamic?
um, obviously, main reason that I did this was to get to work with that legend, and I always want to learn, especially and even more than that, learn how people's personalities over time. Not that we've worked before, but that's my favorite thing is to just see where people are at and where their head is, and no matter how old they are, and what their vibe is, and how they work now after having done so much work. So, I was very grateful that he wanted to work with me. Otherwise, I obviously wouldn't have been on the film, and that he knew that I would um, help support every way that in every type of way that we were shooting, and his character as well.
That's awesome. And th this is one of those great 90-minute action movies. I always love these, and that scene on the bridge when you're all attacking the armored vehicle. It's one of those classic action scenes. You're getting hands-on with guns, there's tear gas, grenades. How much fun were those days on set for you?
Uh, I there's moments of it where you go, this is fun, and then there's other moments where you're like, I haven't drank a bottle of water in 2 hours. It's 100 degrees, and I'm wearing 30 pounds of gear. It's, but the crew was so great and took care of us so well. Of course, shooting weapons. The good thing about it is it's fun with somebody like Sly and me that would have done this a long. I mean, obviously him more than me, but we've done it so much that it's not an issue with shooting or blowing things up, and we know exactly how and where the angles get to be, and so we could keep the ball rolling pretty quickly. But it's always fun getting crazy. But you definitely were whooped at the end of the day.
Yeah. Imagine that Mississippi, because I believe you guys shot down in Mississippi. That heat must have been a killer.
Yeah. And I was like, how come he's not wearing a flak jacket? What's going on here? And I'm like, oh yeah, he's Sylvester. Oh, no, I have to wear a flak
And this guy Smoke, he's a loose cannon. We see as the film goes on, he's maybe a little bit unhinged. He's certainly he wants what he wants, and he's not going to let anyone get in his way. How much fun is it to sink your teeth into a character like that?
Well, I mean, the minute I read it, I was like, oh, this guy is his second, and then he gets to kind of lose it. And I can't say enough that I really do enjoy playing a heavy with baggage, and hopefully that you could see the baggage underneath and see some sort of. It's hard in a movie like this to show any signs of vulnerability, but like the best heavies, I feel like you can see something about why they're doing this and why they're panicking and why they're willing to turn on anybody, and then they're just evil. You can just say they're evil, but there's a story behind that. So the minute I read it, I was like, oh yeah, 100%. This is me and Sly, and we're kind of co-partners. So that if I'm on par with Sly in any way, what am I gonna say? I'm happy to do it.
And yeah, the dynamic actually between obviously your character and Sylvester Stallone's is quite complex. They've clearly got a history. They've done jobs before, and then obviously things don't go to plan on this one. So was it fun to maybe bounce back and forth with him, talk a little bit about that and figure out the relationship between these two?
Yeah, no, that was the most fun thing that again, like, I had heard that he really was vibing with the way I was doing it, and so when we were on set together, it just felt like two, um, obviously I'm a little less of a veteran, but it felt like two veteran actors that like could give each other notes. And he's like, what if we do this? And I was like, what if you do that? And we both were like, yeah, it was good. It was very easy and smooth and congruent in that and quick, and because we had to be in that, like it was like, what if we did this and that? And he's like, what if we did this and that? I think we both have very directorial brains, and that really helped. And so the camaraderie was instant, and uh, you know, uh, I had a blast with him. He was great. We had to do a lot in a little bit of time, and I think that we accomplished a lot.
Yeah, and I know before, you've done comic book roles, as you can probably see. I'm a big comic book fan. I know you've done Punisher, Gotham. You mentioned Last Man Standing. I've not had a chance to read that graphic novel yet, but I know it's on my reading list. So
Oh,
what
you
can you
should.
tell
It's a
us
lot
about?
of big, though.
Yeah, but
What?
what can you tell us about that one and what you're going to be doing with that? Because it's one I'm
Last
putting
Man
together.
Standing. It's a graphic novel by Dan Lovisi, and Section 9 Entertainment, but it's a 250 page. It's called Killbook of a Bounty Hunter. It has a massive amount of roles that are, and right now I'm producing it with my old time friend Leonardo DiCaprio at Appian Way, and we are looking to bring it to life because it's stellar and there's so many characters. It's like it's its own Marvel universe and it's fantastic. So I would definitely check it out and look out for that in the near future.
Oh, cannot wait. And I mentioned at the start Ray Donovan. I loved that series. I was so relieved as a fan that you guys got to come back and do that movie. And I know Bunchy, you got your happy ending, but do you ever think you might revisit that role, or is that series done now? You got your movie and that's that.
When you say happy ending, what do you mean? If you've watched Ray.
Well, happy as it can be for that show.
I know, I couldn't help it. This is a little look, if Guy Ritchie called us and said there's a way to fit us into the Donovans that he's shooting in England, like, I'm in. Of course, I would revisit that. I would love to. I directed one episode. I would love to have done 10, and I would love to revisit it. But that's really up to the gods of whichever studio it's bouncing around to at this moment. But I would totally, Bunchy was, epic for me. I never did a television show for that long, and it really changed my life in many ways.
Yeah, it was an incredible character, and poor Bunchy, what he went through. It was a dark role. So to come onto a movie like this, where you just get to let loose and have fun as an actor, is that almost a bit of a sigh of relief in some ways?
Yes and no. I'm a little bit older, and the 100-degree heat is a little bit hotter, and I'm a little bit slower. But yeah, no, no, of course. Like, I mean, I was thinking about it, and I was like, well, when I did the Thin Red Line in 1997, 8, 9, I was 26, and I could chase an Aquila crane up the hill all day long. Uh, but on being on the bridge at my age now is like it was really fun, and then you're like, okay, but you the fun of it was to remember that you have A, the chops, B, the technical aspect, C, the observation of all that's going on, and B, the care that I think you develop, I hope people develop about everybody around you and all the crew and how hard people are working and the stunt guys that are doing stuff and they're going off doing shots and the beautiful shots in armor that they that open the movie up. Like to me, I just see I can't help but see all of it. now, and so that was really fun. And of course, yeah, shoot 'em up, bang bang is fun, but you know, it's not as fun as it used to be because I kind of know what to expect, and now we're just trying to make sure that everybody's more safe than they used to be.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm not going to get into spoilers, but you and Jason obviously get to work together in this movie. So how was it working with him and exploring that relationship between, these characters?
Oh, Jason's great. I mean, we didn't have much to do together, but I'm a fan, and he's a great guy. To be honest, I think we wanted to. It was supposed to be a bigger fight scene, but we didn't have and I hope nobody rails me for it, but we just couldn't figure out a way to do certain things that we wanted to do, which is movie making, in which, if we could have been fighting underwater in the van, it would have been great. So we did what worked and what made sense and what was safe, most importantly, on everything. And he's a pro. We had a good time, but that was pretty much it. We didn't have that much because there was a built set for the van where they did most of their stuff. So and I wasn't involved in that part. But everybody, they're fortunate they were on the stage and we were out there sweating bullets.
Yeah, they got the aircon. Well, Dash, thank you so much for taking the time today. Because, like I said, I'm a huge fan of yours. Looking forward to seeing Last Man Standing come together, and looking forward to people seeing this one as well. Because it's such a fun ride of a movie.
Glad that you liked it, and thank you. You're so kind, and I hope that we talk again soon.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Dash. Great meeting you.